So who the hell is Daniel Cross?
Believe it or not, he used to be an assassin. The assassin,
Oh, great.
told, but
The assassin.
turned out he was a sleeper agent for Abstergo, programmed to infiltrate and destroy the organization.
How did he know you were there? We could be compromised.
They must have caught me snooping inside their network and sent Cross to see what we were after. If they were aware of our current location, we'd know. Though, I will say this. It doesn't bode very well for future expeditions.
Yeah, exactly.
I set up some cameras topside. If anyone shows up, we'll see it.
Alright, cool.
I'd suggest you go see about finding a socket for that power source. Or we can return to Connor if you prefer. All the artifacts in the world won't mean a thing without the key.
So, basically I have a choice, but let's check out what some of these peeps got to
I know
say.
everyone thinks I'm being silly, but I can't shake the feeling we're being watched.
We are being watched. By Juno. Or some version of her.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think it's a recording? Or is she a ghost? Or something else? Is she talking to us the way Minerva talked to Ezio?
Maybe.
No clue. I mean, who knows what else they were working on down here? There's still so many rooms we don't have access to.
Exactly.
But do you think she's like literally down here, waiting somewhere, still alive?
Still alive? That's mental. That means she'd be at least 75, 80,000 years old? So powerful, yeah, but not that powerful.
They came down here looking for a way to survive.
Maybe.
They found one.
That's peculiar. I don't know, guys. I always try to, you know, have some conversation with these guys. It's a little extra story stuff.
Son, I owe you an apology. I shouldn't have lashed
how
out like
nice.
that. You have to
Dad.
understand, I've never been very good at this. Never mind that we live rather extraordinary lives.
Yeah, I kinda liked my ordinary one.
You can't escape who you are,
Yeah,
Desmond.
Desmond.
So I've noticed.
Look, it's silly for us to go back and forth like this. I admit, I did a shitty job raising you. I apologize, I'm sorry. But it's important you understand it didn't come from a bad place. You're my son. I love you. I guess I was so busy trying to make sure nothing bad happened, I didn't consider the consequences. Truce.
Nice. Well, you guys, hold on for 1 second. I don't know. Is that better? I don't know, maybe. Guys, I'm sorry for...
Ah, Desmond, there you are.
Again,
Can I ask a favour?
Maybe.
how crappy
When
it
this is all
looks.
over,
So
I'd like to
I
try turning
need to
the
spend
dial
some
back to
time
The Animus. Like,
tweaking
all the way
this, all this shit.
to the time of the first civilization.
You think it would work?
There was no real loss of fidelity when you visited Altair. Then again, that was about 1,000 years ago, and I'm looking at going back at least 70,000 more.
Sure, I'd be up for it. Be interesting to see what things were like back then.
Excellent. I think it would prove most enlightening.
Probably shouldn't have much more to say, honestly.
Is it weird seeing Cross?
What do you mean?
Why would it be weird?
It's different for you. You don't know about what happened, I guess. For a long time, he was important to us. He was a different person.
Sean said he was a sleeper agent. Like Lucy.
It was different. She made a choice, but Cross, if you read the files, Abstergo just...
Took him over?
They did terrible things to him.
Rebecca?
You're lucky. We all are. We have people who care about us, who look out for us. He was all alone, and the people he thought he could trust, they used him.
Did you know him?
No, but I knew Hannah.
Who's that?
She tried to help him. She trusted him. But there was a raid about a year ago. She stayed behind so the others could escape. Tried to reason with him to see if she could fix things.
Well, what happened?
What do you think happened? He killed her. That's what he does. That's all he knows how to do. Sometimes it seems like that's all any of us know how to do.
Rebecca,
Yeah. Ever. Hey, Dad.
I can't believe it's taken me so long to ask, but how's Mom? She's not...
No. Your mother is fine. We decided it was safer if we split up for this job.
Always assuming the worst.
For good reason.
Can I at least say hi to her?
I'm sorry, it's too risky. Maybe when we're done.
Right. When we're done.
Is that it? Or what? Okay. Sean, I'm gonna talk to you one more time, buddy.
This is how it started. What? Just brushing up on my American history. Well, I say history. They certainly teach you strange things.
Wow,
in
that
the
shit's
States.
bright.
Like...
Well, for all the talk of this being a revolutionary war, it was a civil one. Well, not that kind of civil. I mean, there was no America versus Britain. It was Brit on Brit action. And you can clearly see how the whole thing got started. One war gave birth to the other.
You mean the 7 Years' War?
Exactly. Seems the Crown overspent in its attempt to keep the French out. Wound up with a great deal of debt. Believing that the colonists should help to shoulder the burden, new taxes were created. It was a reasonable request, even if Parliament was rather, well, undiplomatic about it.
Well, it's not really fair to tax people for a war they didn't want any part of.
What? Didn't want any part of? Did you not notice George Washington with Edward Braddock? He was right there in the middle of it. So here you have the Crown spending who knows how much money to secure a place for the colonists to thrive, and then, when they ask for a little bit of help... Right, look, think of it this way. King George and the colonists, they all go out to dinner, right? And when the bill comes, George asks for them to kick in and pay their share. Fair enough. But keep in mind, he's been taking them out to dinner, gratis, for decades now. But the colonists, oh no, they insist they only had a glass of water and a side salad. Never mind the table's full of half-eaten food and empty bottles of wine. Now when the king points this out, what do the colonists do? Oh, they flip the table over and they storm out the restaurant. Probably intending to turn later and burn it down.
You left out the part where the king pointed a gun at the colonists and asked them to cover dinner for everyone in the restaurant.
Right, yeah, interesting take. If he pulled out a gun, and I'm not sure he did, it would only have been after the 100th failed attempt at getting them to pay their fair share.
But how do you define someone's fair share?
Oh, well, with a war, apparently.
Weird. I don't know, there was something that I'm like supposed to do. I don't know, like with that thing. Is that in here? I don't know. No? Oh, that's weird. It's like an invisible wall. I don't know. I guess I could just go back in the end and miss. Get back up. Whatever, that works for me. Go back to counter. I've had enough of Desmond. Let me see. Yeah, we can get back in there.
Good luck, Desmond.
Thanks.
These are troubled times. The already uneasy alliance between the Crown and its subjects frays. And behind them both the Templars plot, pulling strings and moving pieces.
What's going on here?
History dictates they seek order through control. But how will they affect it here? Who supports them? And what conspiracies have they already spun? All these things I must determine. For only by knowing my enemy can I hope to stop them.
Connor, spare a moment.
Of course.
Have a look.
What is it?
Fishing bow, or rope dart if you prefer. One of the many plans given to us by Shao Yun to...
That is awesome.
Sorry.
We'll have to work on this.
Oh, jeez. Getting crazy.
Ganondogo,
Yes, my friend.
what brings you here? Is the village all right?
For now,
What do you mean? What has happened?
men came, claiming we had to leave. They said that the land was being sold, and that the Confederacy had consented. We sent an envoy, but they would not listen.
You must refuse.
We cannot oppose the Sachem, but you're right as well. We cannot give up our home.
Is that his fat friend?
You have a name. Do you know who is responsible?
He is called William Johnson.
Where is Johnson
William
now?
In
Johnson.
Boston, making preparations for the sale.
Sale! This is theft!
Kana, take care. These men are powerful.
What would you have me do? I made a promise to my people.
Yeah.
If you insist upon this course of action, seek out Sam Adams in Boston. He'll be able to help. What have you done?
When my people go to war, a hatchet is buried into a post to signify its
okay.
start. When the threat is ended, the hatchet is removed.
You could have used a tree.
Yeah, come on, Connor. Jeez. Whoa.